Corlys Velaryon is one of the most storied characters in George R.R. Martin's World of Ice and Fire, so storied that Maester Mathis wrote an in-world book called The 9 Voyages, and HBO is considering a spin-off show that focuses on Corlys and his 9 voyages to Essos. Corlys was known as the Sea Snake, but he was surrounded by dragons, literal and figurative. He married another legend, Rhaenys Targaryen, the queen who never was, who claimed the dragon Meleys. They had 2 children together, Laena and Laenor Velaryon. Laena claimed Vhagar, and Laenor bonded Sea Smoke. Laena also had 2 children with Daemon Targaryen, Rhaena and Baela, who bonded Morning and Moondancer respectively. Laenor married Rhaenyra, and they supposedly had 3 children, Jacaerys, Lucerys, and Joffrey, who bonded Vermax, Arrax, and Tyraxes respectively. But most likely, these 3 boys were actually the sons of Rhaenyra and Sir Harwin Strong, aka Breakbones, or if you're Mrs. Duncan the Tall, Broken Bones. Similarly, Laenor supposedly had 2 bastards, Adam and Alan of Hull, with a canny trader and daring captain named Marilda of Hull. But it's worth noting that Mushroom believed that Adam and Alan were actually Corlys Velaryon's sons. Laenor's wife Rhaenyra bonded Syrax, and her uncle/second husband Daemon Targaryen bonded Caraxes. They had 3 children together, Aegon, Viserys, and Visenya. Visenya was born stillborn, and poor little Viserys' egg never hatched, but Aegon the Dragonbane bonded Stormcloud. And last, but definitely not least, after Laenor's death, his quote-unquote son, Adam of Hull, bonded Sea Smoke. So this goes out to all you visual learners out there. Look at this. A lot of dragons in and around Corlys Velaryon. Other than Viserys and Visenya, every Targaryen in Velaryon bonded a dragon, except Corlys and Alan. Which is interesting, since Alan Oakenfist had an intense passion for sailing, just like Corlys. It's possible that their passion for sailing was so strong, no pun intended, that it filled up their heart's desires. That may be why they never bonded dragons. But still, it's kind of sad. Corlys Velaryon was a legend. He should have bonded a dragon. Actually, there are reasons to believe he did. And not just any dragon, but the most legendary dragon of them all, the Cannibal. Corlys' fire burnt out in 132 AC. He was buried at sea aboard the very ship that had given him his name, the Sea Snake. According to Archmaester Gildane, it was said afterwards that as the hull went down, the Cannibal swept overhead, his great black wings spread in a last salute. So that's the rumor, but Archmaester Gildane noted that he didn't buy it. He believed it to be, quote, a moving touch, but most likely a later embroidery. From all we know of the Cannibal, he would have been more apt to eat the corpse than salute it. So first off, let's be clear. We do not know for sure if the Cannibal swept overhead during Corlys Velaryon's funeral. But there are 2 other pieces of information that we need to consider. First off, the Cannibal was very, very old. Some small folk claim that the Cannibal had made his lair on Dragonstone even before the coming of the Targaryens, so think about that. The Doom of Valyria was 102 BC, before conquest. Aenor Targaryen came to Dragonstone with 5 dragons 12 years before that, in 114 BC. One of those 5 dragons was Balerion the Black Dread. Balerion died in 94 AC, after conquest. But Corlys didn't die until 132 AC. So the Cannibal lived at least 38 years beyond Balerion. Now, we don't know how old Balerion was when Aenor fled Valyria. But we also don't know how old the Cannibal was when Aenor arrived at Dragonstone. And there are some, such as Grandmaster Munkin and Septon Eustace, who don't even believe the small folk. They don't think the Cannibal predated Aenor. But the details are irrelevant. No matter how you slice it, at the time of Corlys Velaryon's death, the Cannibal was old. And according to written history, the Cannibal lived its entire life on Dragonstone. Which leads into point number 2. In his in-world book, The World of Ice and Fire, Archmaester Yandel states that the Cannibal vanished at war's end. If there is truth to that, it begs the question, why? The Cannibal lived for decades, possibly 100 or 200 years or more on Dragonstone. Why would it fly off all of a sudden at war's end? Well, Corlys died not long after the war's end, So if there is truth to the cannibal flying overhead during Corlys' funeral, then we can speculate as to that reason. The legendary Corlys Velaryon never rode a dragon, other than the queen who never was. But he may have bonded a dragon, the most mysterious dragon of them all, the Cannibal. Just like Daenerys in the show adaptation of Game of Thrones, Corlys Velaryon may have begun a second life inside the Cannibal and flown off to sail the seas once more, because that is what sea snakes do.